What's up? My name is Shamel Jones from ShamelJones.com. I'm a world traveler with a bachelor's degree in humanities, and today I'll be sharing my experience going to Tokyo, Japan for the holidays. So first is preparing for the trip. So for me, I always book my trips through Google Flights. I just find it to be the most convenient. They not only show me the cheapest option, but they show me what's also the most convenient. So with Google Flights, I was looking at different flights to from LAX to Japan, and the cheapest one I came across was $1,000, and that was really good for the holiday season. And what was great about this one was it had a 12-hour layover in Honolulu, Hawaii. So I was like, it gets no better than this. So fly to Hawaii, do whatever for 12 hours, fly to Japan, have my amazing experience for 6 days, and then fly directly straight to nonstop to LA. So that was amazing. So yeah, I use Google Flights for that. And for my hotel, I use booking.com. Airbnb is not convenient anymore for me. So typically when I do my traveling, whether abroad or through the States, I always just book through booking.com. I'm not sponsored by any of these people. It's just or any of these businesses. It's just what I find to be the most convenient. So also, my 12-hour was an overnight layover in Honolulu, Hawaii. We landed around 11, and then we left in the morning around 11. So I got a hotel overnight. So the hotel I got was Honolulu Airport Hotel. So typically, I never Uber when I travel. I try to always catch the transit, either a bus or a train. And but it was the train and the bus were it was too late in Hawaii for them to run, so I ended up catching an Uber. Things I liked about this was so when I'm traveling and I have to Uber, I always download Uber and Lyft, and I'll tell you why. So Lyft in some most cases is cheaper than Uber, but they both their prices raised based off of demand. So when you land and everyone's requesting an Uber, the price will significantly jump. So for me, I always download both apps and see what is the cheaper option because I'm trying to spread my money because I take multiple trips consistently. So every penny counts. So for this case, Lyft was cheaper, but also another hack, I guess, is to wait 10 to 15 minutes. And I say this because when everyone lands and you're getting your baggage and well your luggage and everyone's ordering Ubers, the price will jump. If you wait 10 to 15 minutes, the price will significantly drop. And in this video, I'll include screenshots on that. Another thing I prepared with was I let the hotel know in advance, the Honolulu hotel know that I was doing a late check-in because some hotels don't let you check in after about 11 p.m. So I let them know in advance and they approved that. But what they also did for me that I didn't ask for was they waived the incidental. So most hotels will charge you. The cheapest I've seen is 50. The most expensive I've seen is $300, a $300 to $50 hold on your car for incidental. They waived that fee for me, and that was really important because though I had the funds, that could bite into your spending money for traveling. So that's the thing that you can always ask a hotel to do. It doesn't hurt to ask. I've had hotels do that for me in the past. Sometimes I ask, sometimes I don't. Sometimes they just waive it. But all hotels, to my knowledge, I've never worked in hospitality, but all hotels, to my knowledge, have the ability to waive the incidental charge. So that was pretty dope. And another thing I prepared for was okay. So when you buy a ticket to Hawaii, you don't have to, but they have a website, a Visit Hawaii Visit Japan website. And so there are three different sections: quarantine section, there's a custom section, and there's an immigration section. Each section you fill out has their own QR code for completion. Now, I did mine just a day in advance. It doesn't take too long to do. And when I got there, and I did screenshot them, but I'll tell you why you shouldn't screenshot. And then some people had it printed out. For the quarantine portion of it, I showed them the completed screenshot of it when I landed, and they were like, no, we want you to log in and go to the top of the page. And it shows three boxes, and the boxes have a specific color. If it was like blue, you're good to go. If it wasn't blue, you had to go to a different line and fill that information out, which made the process a little bit longer. And then for the customs portion, the QR code had a yellow band at the top where they scanned. They had the line was going pretty smoothly. It was getting held up by people who just weren't prepared. And then I'll go into this a little bit, but I'll tell you why you don't need the passport book later. But part of it is why for this portion you need your passport and you have to take it out of the passport book, and those that speeds up the process. And then for customs, you again have to take your passport out of the passport book, but yeah, showing having those QR codes completed in advance made my process smooth. It wasn't super fast because when you're going abroad, the planes are typically bigger and house a lot of people. So the line was pretty long, but it was smoother for us who had the QR codes done in advance. So just to sum that up, my flight was $1,000. My 6-day hotel in Japan was in Tokyo, Japan. It was in to Yaguta. I think it was one stop away from Shibuya. That was about $400 for 6 nights. My one night hotel in Hawaii was about 130 dollars, and then the Uber to get me to and from the Hawaii hotel was about $10 a piece. So all of that total was a lot cheaper than flying directly to Tokyo and flying directly back. So that layover was clutch for me. And what I love about that was stopping in Hawaii. I went to Hawaii earlier this year for my graduation, but stopping in Hawaii and able to see the mountains, see the beauty, and eat breakfast, and then get on the flight to Japan just made the trip so much more better. This trip to Japan meant a lot to me, as you can see with the Dragon Ball Z, the Pokemon, and the tattoos. I'm a huge fan of anime, comic books. I'm a huge nerd. I mean, just look at my wall and stuff. So this trip was I'm a world traveler, but this trip meant the world to me. I'm just so grateful and I'm super excited to be able to experience this. So I'm so happy to share this experience with you. So next is the currency exchange. So I took out about $200 in US dollars, and when I got to the airport, I did the currency exchange. I don't recommend doing this, and this is why I'll tell you why. So 1,000 yen is about $7 US. So I took my $200 and exchanged it at the airport at the currency exchange. They charge a $13 service fee. So that was already about 2,000 yen that could have been used for food or transportation taken out. And then I just felt gypped. I had about 150 yen they gave me for my 200 US dollars, and I just felt gypped of my money. What I would personally recommend is one, of course, let your bank know that you're traveling. I put Tokyo down, but I would my preference moving forward is now to go there and go to a secure ATM and just pull the money out directly. I have Navy Federal and I always get ATM reimbursements up to about, I think it's about $20 a month. They'll refund my ATM reimbursement. So I recommend doing that so you're not paying the service charge for the currency exchange. And then another thing with the money, um, their transit system allows you to put an app on your phone and you directly tap the gate and pay. My iPhone won't have that. My iPhone was like, no, 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 no. It just wasn't working. So I took the money, the physical money, and I went to the machine and I purchased a card for 500 yen. And then I think I put about 3,000 yen on the transit card. And so instead of tapping my phone, I would just tap the card and it would show my balance on the transit system. So that's about the money I spent. I saved up about $1,000 to spend on this trip, not counting the travel costs, but the spending money. I saved up about $1,000, and I only ended up spending $100. Things in Japan are not cheaper, but I just wasn't. I didn't spend that much money. The food portions are smaller, but the food was really good, and I'll get into that a little bit later. But as far as money, I would say don't go to the currency exchange. Just go there, go to a secure ATM like 7-Eleven there, and just pull the money out that way. And I recommend doing that. So I'm from Baltimore. I didn't get my license till I was 20 years old. I'm now 29, and I got my first car when I was 21. So I just grew up catching the train, the light rail, the subway, the buses. So I'm pretty good with the transit system. I've been to New York, and caught their train. That's a pretty difficult train to try to maneuver around. And then catching trains in foreign countries like Germany and Korea, I got used to being able to travel without necessarily knowing the language. So for this, Apple Maps came super clutch with the transit system. Apple Maps would tell me what train was where, and then they have color coordinated train. In Japan, trains are color coordinated, and then your phone color coordinates them as well. So I was able to get around super fast. The only time I got an Uber was, like I said, in Hawaii. But when I got to Japan, I was on go with that train. As soon as I landed, the airport is has a subway terminal. I was just on go. I never once went in the wrong direction with the train. Things were pretty smooth. Japanese culture, they are very, from my observation and experience, they were very quiet and is my mic on? Just making sure. They're very quiet and reserved. So on the train, everyone's quiet, everyone's wearing a mask, people are just on their phones reading a book, and if they're talking very quiet. Everyone forms up in a straight line and wait for the train. Um, and some trains were packed, but people were willing to wait for the next train. Trains come very quick, so it was no one was in a rush. So I liked the patience, and it was pretty organized. And I was worried that this was the my biggest luggage I've transported. Usually when I travel, I always have luggage. Well, I always have luggage when I travel, but this was I brought a new suitcase. It was much bigger, so I was worried that I would be being black in Japan, being American, and having a big suitcase. I thought it would be just susceptible to just a target, an easy target. But no, everyone had their rolling suitcases, and just getting on and off the train was pretty easy. I caught the train everywhere. I was on trains above ground, trains underground, got on a fast train, and I just kept scanning my little card and reading the signs and going in different directions. I was able to survive Shibuya's train station, and I was also able to survive Tokyo's main train station. When I was in Tokyo, I didn't get on any buses, but just getting on the train was super exciting. And then I spent a lot of time walking, so I always felt safe. I'm military and I'm from the street, so I have a little bit of situational awareness and common sense. So I'm always aware of my surroundings, but I felt super safe and just wearing my mask, and I didn't stand out. Nobody cared that I was black. Nobody cared that I was American. People only cared about my Dragon Ball Z shirt. I wore multiple Dragon Ball Z shirts, and everybody just kept commenting on my Dragon Ball Z shirt. So just transportation there and getting on the transit was super easy, super convenient. And just shout out to Apple Maps for really just being clutch on just helping me get to where I need to go. Also, this brings me a little bit back to preparation. Phone plan. So I have T-Mobile Magenta, the military plan. So wherever I go overseas, my text and my internet are free. Unlimited text and internet is free up to 5 gigabytes, and then it slows down. So there's free Wi-Fi everywhere in Tokyo. I'm a little bit suspicious when I see free Wi-Fi, because when you sign up for it, sometimes your phone can get hacked, information can get stolen, or sometimes when I travel and they have free Wi-Fi, they ask for email address, and you just get signed up for spam emails. And I'm a person who's always in my emails. I'm active in my emails, so getting spam emails really that goes straight to your inbox and not your spam folder can be very inconvenient. So I would say just prep with your phone plan. For my 6 days, my 5 gigs did get me through. I didn't upload to social media or watch TikTok or Instagram reels until I got back to my hotel, or I was connected on secure Wi-Fi. But when I was on the trains, even underground, my phone still had service. And then a lot of the trains, not all, but a lot of the trains did have Wi-Fi to connect to. And then on the walls, they would show like the username and password, so it was just easy to connect. Some of the things I noticed in Japan, like I said, people on the train are very quiet and reserved and keep to themselves. When you're getting on the escalator, whether you're going up or down, everyone shifts to one side. And if you're going up, everyone's on the left, and there's room on the right for if you're in a rush to just hurry up and go up. So I love that. I wish we implemented that here in America. Another thing I saw, people do not jaywalk. They wait until the light gives them the go to walk across the street. People are patiently waiting. Also, when I was waiting for the train, and people were formed up in lines. Like I said, the trains they come quick. So when people were patient waiting for the next train. It wasn't a big deal to them, and the culture was very quiet and reserved. And people were respectable. And then, as far as me speaking English, or think me being black, nobody. I saw videos like, oh, they're going to try to touch your hair. They want to take pictures with you. I didn't experience with that. I don't know if it's because it's super diverse and those people have a different experience than mine, or if I'm a lighter complexion. I don't know, but from my experience, nobody cared that I was black in Japan. Um, and then as far as eating, I don't speak any Japanese. I'm more than open to speaking Japanese and learning Japanese. When I would try to translate, they would be like, "No, no, just try to explain it as best you can in English, or do the point and smile." That got me through Germany. That got me through Poland. When I was in Korea, I spoke Hangul, but a lot of the foreign countries that I go to, the point and smile gets you through a lot. Or take a picture of what you're trying to get, like whether it's food or item. I take a picture, show them the picture, and they're like, "Okay, cool." But a lot of the times, restaurants they would have an English speaking person in an English menu. But like I said, I'm open to learning Japan. I just wasn't fully equipped with the language to be able to converse and have people understand what they were saying. So for this kind of sort of last minute trip, it was just easier to point and smile. So those are some of the different things that I noticed. Also, a lot of YouTubers I saw that when I was watching things to get ready for in Japan, a lot of them said how clean it was. And it was clean, and people were outside every morning cleaning the streets, power washing the streets, picking up trash, taking out trash. I saw the trash truck every day. And I want to attach this YouTuber's video. His video was the most accurate. Preparing for Japan, I watched a lot of YouTubers, different experience, and some TikTokers. His stuff was the most accurate. Um, he said that there's not really trash cans anywhere. Like people would like if you buy something, eat it outside of the store, and then the only trash can is at the store. There's no real public trash cans anywhere. So that was a thing. Also, I ate at a lot of the authentic food spots. I wasn't going. I don't know the social media hotspots in Japan. I don't. I walk around, see something that looks good, I eat there. That was my experience. Also in his video, he said 7-Eleven is a lot better than Family Mart, and he was absolutely right. 7-Eleven was clutch. Their food, their snacks, everything was good. So me, when I was at the convenience store, 7-Eleven over Family Mart. Another thing I noticed, alcohol is served 24. You can purchase alcohol 24/7, but restaurants don't serve it 24/7, but you can always go to 7-Eleven and buy it. Also in Tokyo, even though Tokyo is extremely diverse, it's an open container city, but I never saw anyone not sitting down at a restaurant drinking. I never saw anyone walking down the street or in the alleyway drinking. So I was like, are they sure this open container? Because I don't see nobody in the streets drinking. That's something I noticed too. But yeah, overall, just people were very polite, very respectable, very reserved. It was super clean, but yeah, there's no trash cans everywhere. So also, I learned that it's rude in Japanese culture, to my knowledge, to walk and chew or walk and eat. People will like when you say you get something from 7-Eleven ice cream, you just stand outside of 7-Eleven, eat your ice cream, throw it away, and then you walk. People don't walk and eat or walk and drink. So those were kind of some of the significant differences I noticed. Definitely the most that stand out was the cleanliness and the organization. Just everyone forming lines is or standing to one side or waiting at the light and stuff. And that was the first country. I mean, like I said, I'm a world traveler, but that was the first country that people were driving on the other side. So that was also pretty cool to see. I hit the ground running. I treated this trip like I may never get another chance to go to Japan. Soon as I landed, activity, 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 activity. I had a list of activities that I wanted to do, and when I got there, I built an itinerary based off my current location, where I was going and what activities on my list were in that location. So as you can see, I'm a huge nerd. Everything on my wall, my Pikachu rug I'm working on, my art, my tattoos, my shirt, everything. So some of the things that really stood out to me, activities I did that I got from TikTok actually. So one, the Owl Cafe. It was cool, but I would say skip it. So the Owl Cafe is not actually a cafe. It's a small room filled with owls that I paid 2,200 yen to get in. And you can pick the owls up, pet them, and he put them on you. It felt wrong. The room was really small and not really dirty, but not really clean. I was there, I was like, this doesn't feel right in terms of just it just felt wrong having all those owls just trapped in that room. It just felt super wrong. But activity I did, the Owl Cafe. You can skip the Owl Cafe, and it's not a cafe. It's just a room with owls. They don't serve food or drinks. So that's one. Two, I went to the official Pokemon Center. That was amazing. I purchased some different cool things, so that was super fun. Loved that experience going to the official Pokemon Center. I went to Team Labs Museum. That is the best. I'm working on my Masters of Art. That is the best art museum I've ever been to in my life. And I say that as a art major and someone who has their own small business making art. That is the best museum I have ever been to in my life. And then the best activity I did while I was there was the real life Mario Kart, the street go kart racing. I'm going to show throughout this, of course, this video I'm showing clips, but the street Mario Kart racing was top tier. That was a top tier activity. They took us through Shibuya. They took us to Harajuku. We were going through the streets. You're on actual streets doing activities just on a go kart speeding around, and that was super cool. So those are some of the activities. And then I went to every district and I was trying food. I, of course, did the sushi bar with the spinning belt and you grab the sushi off. Of course, it had some ramen. Fried chicken was amazing. I went to every major district and I was taking in the culture. Of course, because I'm trying to grow on social media and start my own vlog, record for a little bit, but put that phone away and take in the culture. Anything people were recommending on TikTok, I was doing. I was just outside all day. I would leave my hotel around 8. And what's great about my hotel is they serve breakfast. And that saved me a lot of money eating at the hotel. But anyway, I would leave my hotel around 8 and be out all day. I personally don't go to bars and clubs. So at nighttime I would be able to come in, shower, relax, decompress, and then be out the next day doing all sorts of activities. So it was just so much to do. The two activities I would say to book in advance is the Team Lab Museum. That got extremely, when I went there, the line was already long and they were sold. I got there around 10. They were sold out until 6 p.m. So I just, well, 5 to 6 p.m. So I was like, snap, I gotta buy the ticket for later. So I would say get that in advance. And the Street Mario Go Kart, book it in advance. We'll reserve it in advance, but don't pay for it in advance. I paid $150 from TripAdvisor. A couple there that went, they reserved their spot. They paid 7,000 yen in person, so it was significantly cheaper. And that brings me to some things that you'll need and some things that you don't need. So the first thing that you don't need is this travel adapter plug. Um, I'm coming from America, so their plugs were just like our plugs in Japan. Only difference is all of their plugs are only two-prong plugs. And some of my stuff here at home is three-pronged. My laptop charger. I didn't bring my laptop, but as far as my phone charger, my Nintendo Switch charger, everything I brought was just a two-prong plug. So I didn't need this converter. Because I'm a world traveler, it will come clutch in the future. I've had it when I went to Korea. I've had it when I went to Europe. So I plan on taking more trips. When I went to Canada early this year, I think they used the same plug too. I don't remember. I'll in another video I'll talk about my trip to Canada. But yeah, you won't need this for Japan. I didn't even take it out the box to show you what it looks like. A thing that you'll only need if you plan on either renting a car, which I don't recommend, but if you plan on doing the street Mario Kart go kart racing, you'll need your international driving permit. You can get it for AAA. You don't need a membership for AAA to go. It costs $20. It's an additional $12 to $15 if you need a photo. If you have a passport photo, in my first one when I went to Germany, I had a passport photo. For this one, they took the photo on the spot, so I ended up paying around $32. It's good for 1 year, but it's a requirement for the Street Mario Kart go-kart racing. The next thing you don't need that I did buy, so Japan is the first country that I saw that the tourists are required to have their passport on them at all times. So I bought a passport book for my passport. It was the passport book was very inconvenient. I had to, when I was going through customs and going to the airport, and then when I was flying back, I had to constantly take it out the book, and it was stuff like that just adds up time. And then of course I want to keep my passport protected, but anytime I travel anywhere, I wear a fanny pack or satchel around my chest, and I keep my passport in a different compartment of its own. So I didn't really need the passport book, but I guess it's nice to have in the long run. But for Japan, it wasn't worth it. So those are three things that you either need or don't need, that I recommend. So yeah, skip the passport book, but of course you need your passport. If you plan on doing a Mario Kart, which I 100% 10 out of 10 recommend, get you the international driver's permit. And like I said, it's good for 1 year. I'm a world traveler. I plan on taking more trips. I'm going to Alaska tomorrow, Anchorage, Alaska tomorrow. I won't need it because that's American territory, but you just never know. It might cross over to Canada. You never know. And then this plug. So I'll take this with me tomorrow just in case. So those are things you may need or not need. And then those are some of the activities that I did that stood out to me. So overall, this is the best trip I have ever taken in my life. I don't know if my other trips and experiences just prepared me better for this trip, or if it's just because it's Japan. I was just super excited to go, but I was well prepared, and just the overall experience was just top tier. I mean, just last year alone, I went to Japan, Canada, and Mexico, but those were my abroad trips, but Japan definitely was top tier. Even out of all the trips I took in the States, Japan just took the cake. Just everyone was respectable. It was super clean. I was super comfortable. I was happy, and just activity after activity after activity. I just felt like I reached the level of being a super tourist. So I'm just super excited about this trip. I recommend that everyone go and experience it. And just, I don't know, this is my first YouTube video vlog about my traveling. So just make sure you like, follow, subscribe if you want. I'm going to Anchorage, Alaska tomorrow, so I'll be making a video about that. I'll also be making a video about my trip to Vancouver, Canada, and then I'll be talking about some of the other countries that I've been to. So this is Black Men Travel Too. Again, my name is Shamel from ShamelJones.com. I'm a world traveler with a bachelor's in humanities, and I just plan on sharing my experiences with the world. So hope you enjoy. I'm out.